Am I the asshole for suggesting to my daughter-in-law that she leaves my son? Please understand the context before judging. My son is a healthy 30-year-old and his wife, Alexa, 28, has a chronic illness. She has a lot of pain and she has good days and bad days. It's not like she's bedridden or can't do anything, but there are limits. There is no cure for this illness. The condition can only be managed. She was diagnosed about 3 years ago now. My son now spends a lot of his time taking care of Alexa, researching about her condition, and arranging their lives around trying different types of ways to manage her condition. They have been together since high school, and I know that my son loves her to bits. I'm also really fond of her myself and would love to see her doing better. But the undeniable reality is that this is really affecting my son in a negative way. He isn't as carefree and happy as he used to be, which I understand is part of just being an adult as well, but he's just so worn down and not himself a lot of the time. I brought this up and also brought up carer's fatigue to him, and also broached the subject of possibly starting to resent Alexa in the future. My son was initially very defensive, but then I think him and Alexa discussed, and they started seeing a counselor that specializes in this kind of situation. However, I just hate seeing him waste away like this, and I tried to gently suggest to him many times that it might be best if he separate from Alexa, but keep supporting her as a friend rather than spend the rest of his life living like this. He did not like that at all, got very upset, and the last time I brought this up, he threatened to stop talking to me at all if I keep suggesting this. I only do so because I care about him. I know he's trying to do the right thing and be noble, and he's optimistic that they are going to find a treatment plan that works well enough for her to function normally. But of course, there's no guarantee, and with the way things went last year, just got me thinking how we really need to treasure life. So this time, instead of bringing this up to my son, I brought it up to Alexa and suggested that she leave my son. She was really shocked at first, but she also cried and said she does feel like a burden. But then she kept repeating how much she loves my son and couldn't leave him even if she does feel selfish. I told her to think about it, and I thought that'd be the end of that, but I guess she told my son because he called me and was so angry. Spoke through gritted teeth and told me to stop making his wife feel like shit and putting ideas into her head, as if she's a toddler. He's also called my husband and asked him to speak to me and get me to be more respectful of his decisions, or he won't talk to me anymore. I just feel so badly about the whole thing, but I also do feel that as his mother, I need to try to at least get him to see the options and get him to truly enjoy his life. But I understand I might have overstepped. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to stop having girls' nights in just because my boyfriend thinks it's wrong? Hi, so I've been seeing this guy Will, 27 male, for months now. He's so sweet and funny and creative. Fun fact, he drives 2 cars that he adjusted/fixed on his own. We don't live together, but we do meet at my place every weekend. He called and asked what we will be doing on Friday, and I said I wanted to host a girls' night in, since it was my turn. He asked what the heck a girls' night in was. I said a girls' night in, and he got quiet, then asked if I was being serious. I was confused as he started talking about how outdated and so 1950s these events are, and said that I should stop promoting and advocating for those events as they're so toxic and flat out reek of misogyny. I was shocked by his long rant, but he said that that was his honest opinion. I told him regardless, I still plan to host the event after he tried talking me out of it and suggested we go out together. He threw a fit after he suggested bringing his guy friends to join us, and I refused, since this is not how GNIs work. He called me a sexist and misogynistic for having a girls' night in and making it so obvious instead of being ashamed of myself. He said that my mentality will cause me issues in the future, especially if I behave like that in a professional work setting. Let me tell you, I was blown away by how he got so worked up like that over me just missing my girls and wanting to spend time with them. We argued some more, and he hung up on me after I said I will not stop hosting or being a part of girls' night ins, no matter what he says about it. I tried to call and apologize for lashing out later, but he sent a text saying he was hurt by how I handled our small disagreement and needs time to process what he just found out about my personality. This hurt me, but my friendship and the bond I share with my girlfriends is huge, and I don't want to risk the years of friendship by no longer being a part of our bonding activities. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for getting upset my boyfriend wouldn't take me to the emergency room? My boyfriend, male 20, and I, female 21, live together at my parents'. I've been having some pretty bad UTI symptoms and went in to a walk-in clinic 2 weeks ago when I had clear signs of UTI, and they sent me home and said I tested negative. I woke up a week later with extreme hip pain. I spent all day on a heating pad and crying. 2 more days passed, and then I woke up with the worst abdominal pain I've ever had. I began screaming and calling my mom. She says to wake up my boyfriend and tell him to take me to the nearby hospital. 7 minutes away, that is small, or one that's 35 minutes away that would properly handle what was going on. I wake him up and he says, just sleep it off. At this point, I'm in tears. He says no and alludes that I'm overreacting, which I have been known to do, and it's probably nothing because I tested negative. I feel as if I've been stabbed, and this is not the type of pain I can wait out. I even compare how I'm feeling to a possible bladder rupture because of how awful I felt. Finally, he agrees to take me, but only if I let him sleep for 2 more hours. I understand that if it was some ungodly time, but it was currently 11:30 a.m., and he went to bed at 3 a.m. after playing video games. I explain that I can't wait that long and have no one else home to drive me. He turns over and lays back down. An hour goes by of the worst pain of my life, and I decide I will just try to suck it up and drive myself to the nearby ER. I woke him up one more time and explained that I cannot wait any longer. I need to go now because something is wrong. He snaps and says give him 1 more hour and lays back down. I storm off in my car and make it about 2 blocks before I realize I forgot my wallet and I was in no state to drive, as I was literally in so much pain I couldn't focus. I come home and lay down in bed beside him as I scream out in pain. He says that I know it takes time for him to wake up and I have no right to get mad. I barely utter out, please take me to the one 7 minutes away because I'm scared. I remind him that I've driven 2 hours at 3 a.m. on no sleep just to pick him up from the hospital and spent the whole summer helping him recover from his injury, including bathing and wiping him because he needed me. He argues some more, then finally at 2:30 p.m. takes me to the hospital 7 minutes away. It turns out I had an advanced UTI, an infection in my bladder and kidneys, as well as a kidney stone that was infected. I felt bad as I recalled my attitude that morning, but I was in a lot of pain. I do recall saying things like, fine, just don't help me, and you're being a dick in rebuttal to his attitude. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for kidnapping my wife's cat and switching it out with a more well-behaved lookalike 6 years ago? 6 years ago, I swapped my then girlfriend, now wife's cat, with a more well-behaved lookalike. She had an all-black cat that was extremely aggressive. It scratched everyone, hissed at everyone, and didn't use his litter box half the time. My wife insisted that she could get it to behave better, but I didn't believe her. One week, she went out of town to visit her family, and I was supposed to go to her apartment and feed it. The first night I went over, it scratched the shit out of my arm. I joked to the cat that it's not special, and I'll replace it if it scratches me again. The joke stuck with me until I had thought about it enough that it wasn't a joke. The next morning, I went to the local animal shelter and found an identical cat who was already litter box trained and acclimated to people, but was a little skittish. Its old owner died of a heart attack, and the animal shelter people said that they think that's why it was skittish. But overall, it was a lot friendlier and better behaved, and the skittishness would help it resemble the original cat. So I adopted it, took it to my wife's apartment, settled it in, then drove her original cat to an animal shelter a town over. I was paranoid my wife would find out if I took it to a local one. It's been 6 years since then. We got married 4 years ago. We still have the swapped cat. Answers to the original cat's name. My wife knows nothing. She loves this cat and brags about how much better behaved it is. Every time I see it, I feel like a total piece of the a-hole.
Would I be the asshole by not telling a guy I've been dating for a month that I'm having artificial insemination to be a single mother? Prior to lockdown, I decided to be a single mother by choice. The journey to accepting this has taken 2 years and included counseling and a very thorough plan to ensure I could do this alone. Right before I was due to have artificial insemination with the donor sperm, the pandemic hit and treatments were canceled. There was no timeline for when things may reopen. For a few days, I was devastated as I was so mentally prepared for this, and then I picked myself up and decided to park my plan. After all, I didn't have a choice. I downloaded a dating app out of curiosity and figured that I could still chat to guys and see what happened without having any expectation. I've been talking with this guy, let's call him G, and it's only been a month, so very early stage. However, we've met up twice and spoken many times on the phone. And I get a really good feeling from him. For the first time in years, quite frankly, I feel emotionally connected with the man and it feels completely natural and promising. During this time, my clinic called me to say they have an approval to open and do I wish to go ahead this month with my treatment. I want to be a mother more than ever, so I said yes, and now I'm on medication with my appointment set for next week. While there's no guarantee I'll get pregnant on the first go, I have a conflict in mind about informing G of my plan. On one hand, it's at such an early stage of our romance without yet being anything committed that I feel like I'm bringing something up prematurely. On the other hand, I wonder what may happen as time goes on. Am I just delaying the inevitable? Is it deceptive of me not to inform him of something so fundamental in my life? A friend told me that I'd sabotage a potential relationship with him by telling him of this plan right now, and that a man who is really into me will accept me even if I'm pregnant, and that more time is needed for him to really get to know me. But in my mind, I'm wondering if it will piss him off by suddenly saying, "Hey, I'm pregnant by the way." Spoken loosely about wanting kids in the future, so I know he'd like a family, but it was a brief passing comment. I'm also not willing to wait to get into a long-term relationship, and we are far too early into be thinking about a family together.
Oh no, 'cause true colors don't blend. They don't blend. 'Cause true colors don't blend. Don't blend. Yeah, true colors don't blend. 'Cause true colors don't blend. Keep talking. I'm smiling ear to ear. I keep on walking until you're nowhere near. How lonely must it really be? 'Cause you're the only person you can see. Oh no.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.